Salve, I am Marcus Tullius Cicero, and I have returned to offer my wisdom in these troubled times. The world you face today, so akin to the days of ancient Rome, carries the heavy burden of power's temptations. It is in these moments, as empires rise and fall, that you must look to reason, compassion, and civic virtue to guide your steps. You are at the precipice, staring across the modern Rubicon, where the decisions you make today will define the future of your republic. I come to you now with a dire message. We don't need another Caesar. This is a warning to those who wield power as if it were their birthright. For those who seek dominion, who seek to bend the will of the state to their personal desires, you must remember that tyranny always wears a crown of ashes. You see, Caesar, the man whose name became synonymous with kingship, though kings were outlawed in our Roman Republic, believed in the power of one. He believed that he and he alone was the embodiment of Rome, that the state could only thrive through his personal rule. And how many before him, how many after him, have called themselves not just I, but we. Much like Caesar and the emperors who followed him, Trump's rhetoric often places himself at the center of the political landscape, pushing aside traditional institutions, checks and balances, and democratic norms in favor of his singular vision of leadership. The dangerous allure of this power dynamic is clear. It leads to a situation where the ruler is not a servant of the people, but their master, much as the Roman emperors ruled with absolute authority. The empire thrives or falls based on the whims of the emperor. In our own time, we saw the tragedy of Julius Caesar. His ascent to power, his crossing of the Rubicon, was the death knell of the Roman Republic. The Republic that had stood for centuries, built on laws, reason, and the principle that no one man was above the law, fell to the will of one. And while Rome remained great for a time, it was in its decline that it truly began to fall. The fires of ambition burn bright, but they destroy everything in their path, leaving only charred ruins behind. So, how do you navigate the modern Rubicon as you face men who believe they are the voice of the people? First, I say to you, reason. Do not be swept away by rhetoric that inflames your passions, as Julius Caesar once did with his crowds. Consider the facts, the evidence, and the wisdom of the past. Second, compassion. Power must be tempered with empathy for the people. A true ruler must serve the public, not enrich themselves at the expense of the weak. Without compassion, the state becomes a machine that grinds down its citizens. Lastly, civic virtue. The strength of your republic lies not in one man's ambition, but in the active participation of its people. Remember that true virtue is not about dominating the masses, but about empowering them to flourish in a just society. Do not let a demagogue lead you astray by appealing to your basest instincts. If you listen to these lessons, reason, compassion, and civic virtue, you may find a way to resist the siren call of tyranny. If instead you turn away from these values and embrace unchecked power, you risk becoming like those who came before you. The flames that consumed Rome will not be the first to burn, and they will not be the last. To better understand how this dynamic unfolds in the modern world, I urge you to watch the video, The United States of Trump, on the Renaissance Spirit channel, where we explore the contemporary political landscape and how it mirrors the rise of powerful figures in history. But heed my warning. In a republic, the state belongs to the people, not to any man who would claim it for himself. For more wisdom from the past and for insight into the present, be sure to check out my other videos, where I speak on the virtues of a republic, the dangers of populism, and the moral responsibilities of those who wield power. Remember, we don't need another Caesar. We need reason. We need compassion. We need virtue. Valete.
Beneath the marble skies, the cracks spread through the walls. The pillars lean, the torches dim, yet shadows fill the halls. A voice that claims eternity, its echo sharp and loud. But in the mirror silence, the truth stands dark and proud. Through gilded lies and heavy chains, the emperor ascends. But every crown that bends to him brings closer bitter ends. I am Rome, the beating heart, the empire made of stone. I hold the fate of nations, their will is mine alone. The fire burns eternal, the throne my sacred home. For I am Rome, and Rome is I. And yet the ashes rise. The Senate fell to silence, their silver tongues betrayed. The people cried for justice, but their cries were turned to shade. He built his golden tower high above their reach, a monument to glory built on ruins beneath. But every marble visage cracks, the flaws can't be concealed. No emperor can crush the truth, the broken stones reveal. I am Rome, the gilded king, who walks the crimson throne. I shape the fate of nations, their sins are carved in stone. The world will bow in silence beneath the echoing dome. For I am Rome, and Rome is I. And yet the walls will fall. To music he who pens these words, do you think you're unseen? You play your games with shadows, yet the air grows thick between. You craft a song to praise me, yet the notes betray the truth. Beware the hand that writes my tale, for it may bear no use. Vox clamat in tenebris, Rexia Iuria. Quod edificat ruet, quod regit sequetur. Mortis in voce, infirmus in colpo. You think rebellion ruses hope, it only fans the flames. And every cry for action feeds the beast you can't contain. I am Rome. I am Rome, the steadfast storm, the crown no man can own. I breathe the fire of conquest, the seeds of fate are sown. This world will break before me, its fragments mine to comb. For I am Rome, and Rome is I. And yet the ashes rise. The Senate fell to silence, their silver tongues betrayed. The people cried for justice, but their cries were turned to shade. He builds his golden tower
odierno futura contemplor.
Urbe magna vivo, speri plenamente, fortune dona spero, libertatem sensu, sotto le lavoro, in sogni sforo, in dia odierno, futura contemplo. Non opus est nobis, alio casare. A dream of fortunes gives the sense of freedom. Under the sun I toil, in dreams I soar. In today's light I ponder the future.
You're willing to give up your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, or fortuna don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your whims. For we won't go asunder. With Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. In foro clamors, in domo spes, vita quotidiana, in studies veritas, futurum intur, qui nos expectas, heri exemplum, cras concilium. In the forum the clamor, at home the hopes, everyday life, in studies the truth. I gaze at the future, what awaits us? Yesterday an example, tomorrow a plan. You're willing to give up your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, or fortuna don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your winds. For we won't go asunder. With Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. In ludis decimus, in hortis colloquimur, de vita et spe, de hominum fato, mundum meliorare, speramus hodie, ut cras vivamus in pace et amore. In schools we learn, in gardens we talk, about life and hope, about the fate of man. To better the world, we hope today, so tomorrow we live in peace and love. Your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, or fortuna don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your winds. For we won't go asunder. With Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. In unis decimus, in hortis colloquimur, de vita et spe, de hominum fato. Mundum meliorare, speramus hodie, ut cras vivamus in pace et amore. In schools we learn, in gardens we talk, about life and hope, about the fate of man. To better the world, we hope today, so tomorrow we live in peace and love. Nocte sub cielo, sider aspecto, fortunam precor, futura retexo. Etre mundus cras nostra est potestas, melius facere, manus in manibus. Under the night sky, I watch the stars, I pray to fortuna, unravel the future. Behold, the world of tomorrow is in our power, to make it better hand in hand. In urbe magna vivo, spe plena mens, fortune dona spero, li libertatem sensu, sub sole laboro, in somnis volu, in die odierno futura contemplo. Non opus est nobis, alio Caesare. A dream of fortune's gifts, the sense of freedom. Under the sun I toil, in dreams I soar. In today's light I ponder the future. You're willing to give up your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, or fortuna don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your whims. For we won't go asunder. With Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. In foro clamores, in domo spes vita quotidiana, in studies veritas futurum intueo, quid nos expectat, heri exemplum, cras concilium. In the forum the clamor, at home the hopes, everyday life in studies the truth. I gaze at the future, what awaits us, yesterday an example, tomorrow a plan. You're willing to give up your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, oh Fortuna, don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your winds. For we won't go asunder, with Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. In iuris decimus, in hortis colloquimur, de vita et spe, de hominum fato, mundum meliorare, speramus hodie, ut cras vivamus. In urbem magna vivo, spe plenament, fortunae dona spero libertatem sensu, subturum intueo, quid nos expectat, heri exemplum, cras concilium. In the forum the clamor, at home the hopes, everyday life, it studies the truth. I gaze at the future, what awaits us, yesterday an example, tomorrow a plan. You're willing to give up your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, oh Fortuna, don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your whims. For we won't go asunder, with Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. In horo clamores, in domo spes vita quotidiana, in studies veritas futurum intueor, quid nos expectat, heri exemplum, cras concilium. In the forum the clamor, at home the hopes, everyday life, in studies the truth. I gaze at the future, what awaits us, yesterday an example, tomorrow a plan. You're willing to give up your future and the fate of humanity. You're willing to give up your freedom and let democracy die. Not that I ever had it, oh Fortuna, don't cast us down by the plunder and the thunder of your whims. For we won't go asunder, with Concordia we stand, united a strand of dignity and community so grand. To build a future may we wake from slumber, we don't need another Caesar.